What if I told you the first space race was just a practice run? A single sprint to plant a flag and go home. What's happening right now in our time is the real event. This is the marathon, a race to stay, to build, to own, and to control the future of humanity, not on Earth, but above it. This isn't a Cold War sequel between two nations. This is a global competition with two competing visions for our future in space. On one side, a US-led international alliance. On the other, a powerful China-Russia partnership. They're racing back to the moon, but this time, the prize isn't just footprints. It's water. It's energy. It's strategic high ground. Welcome to the Mind Cache. Today, we're uncovering the official timelines, the key players, and the real prize in the new space race. Leading the first block is NASA with its Artemis program. You might remember the successful uncrewed flight of Artemis I back in 2022, which proved its colossal rocket and Orion capsule could make the journey. But that was just the dress rehearsal. The main event is coming fast. In early 2026, Artemis II is scheduled to launch. This is the one to watch. 4 astronauts will strap into the Orion capsule and become the first humans in over 50 years to leave the safety of low Earth orbit and fly around the far side of the moon. They won't land, but their 10-day journey will pave the way for the historic next step. And that step is Artemis III, currently slated for mid-2027. Using a specialized lunar lander built by SpaceX, NASA will finally put boots back on the lunar soil, including the first woman on the moon. But their goal isn't just to visit, it's to build a permanent outpost. The long-term vision includes the Lunar Gateway, a small space station orbiting the moon, that will act as a staging point for regular missions to the surface, and eventually to Mars. This is a slow, collaborative, and deliberate plan to create a permanent human presence. But America's alliance is not the only team in the race. If you're enjoying this journey into the future, give it a like and hit subscribe. Now, back to what's coming next. For years, the China National Space Administration, or CNSA, has been making quiet, calculated, and incredibly successful moves. They were the first to land on the far side of the moon, brought back lunar samples, and have a functioning space station of their own. Now, in partnership with Russia, they have an even bigger ambition: the International Lunar Research Station, or ILRS. The ILRS plan is aggressive. China is aiming for its first crewed landing by 2030, putting them just a few years behind NASA, but their roadmap extends much further. By 2035, they plan to have a fully operational robotic research station at the moon's south pole, built and tested without risking human life. From there, they will expand it, preparing for long-term human habitation by 2050. It's a different strategy. Build the house with robots first, then move the humans in. And both of these superpowers are aiming for the exact same lunar real estate, the South Pole. Why? Because it's home to the one resource that changes the entire game. And it's not what you think. You may have heard that we're going back for something called helium-3, a perfect non-radioactive fuel for nuclear fusion. While it's true the moon has it, and it's theoretically valuable, the technology for helium-3 fusion is decades away from being viable. And the amount of lunar soil you'd have to mine is staggering. It's not the reason for this multi-billion-dollar race. The real prize is simpler and infinitely more valuable in the short term: water ice. Hidden in permanent shadow within craters at the poles, this ice is the key to our future in space. You can melt it for drinking water, you can split it into oxygen for breathing, and most importantly, you can separate its hydrogen and oxygen to create the most powerful chemical rocket fuel we know. The moon isn't the destination, it's the gas station. Controlling the water means you control the fuel depot for the entire solar system, and that fuel is critical for the ultimate goal of some players. While nations build bases on the moon, private visionaries like SpaceX are using it as a stepping stone. Their stated mission is to use Starship to get humans to Mars, with the almost unbelievable goal of building a self-sustaining city by 2050. The moon race is, for them, just a necessary stop on the way to becoming a multi-planetary species. closer to home, other private companies are creating a different kind of space race. Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic are now flying commercial tourists to the edge of space. For now, it's a multi-$100,000 ticket for a few minutes of weightlessness. But it's the start of an industry that could fundamentally change our relationship with space, turning it from a place for astronauts into a destination for citizens. And while all this competition for settlement and tourism unfolds, humanity's pure curiosity continues to push outward. In 2028, NASA will launch Dragonfly, a nuclear-powered, car-sized drone that will fly through the alien skies of Saturn's moon Titan. Arriving in 2034, its mission isn't to build or colonize, but to search for the chemical building blocks of life in a place with liquid seas of methane. So as we look towards 2050, the heavens are getting busy. Two global superpowers are leading two different visions for how to settle the moon. Private companies are selling tickets to the stars, and robotic explorers are venturing to worlds we've only dreamed of. This new era in space is not a simple story of exploration. It's a complex epic of competition, ambition, and strategy that will define the 21st century. The question is no longer if we will become a multi-planetary species, but rather, under whose rules and with which vision will we do it? But the future isn't just being written above us. Right here on Earth, a new chapter is unfolding. One of cities with no cars, AI doctors, and buildings that touch the clouds. Let's take a quick look at what's coming by 2050. AI-designed drugs hit the market. In 2026, a drug called DSP-1181, created entirely by artificial intelligence, is expected to hit the market. It's the first of its kind, developed in months, not years, designed to treat obsessive-compulsive disorder. If successful, it will mark the beginning of an AI-driven revolution in medicine. World's tallest skyscraper completes. In 2028, Saudi Arabia plans to complete the Jeddah Tower, the first building to rise over 1,000 meters. Taller than the Burj Khalifa, it's a symbol of a new era in architecture, combining extreme engineering with smart, sustainable design. End of gasoline cars in Europe. By 2030, many countries, including the UK and Germany, will ban the sale of new gasoline and diesel cars. Backed by the European Green Deal, this shift will make electric vehicles the norm, and fossil fuel cars a thing of the past. First hotel in space. In 2031, Voyager Station, a rotating orbital space hotel, is set to open for business. Designed by Orbital Assembly Corporation, it will host up to 400 guests in low Earth orbit, offering fine dining and surreal views of Earth 500 kilometers below. NEOM's Smart City comes online. In the Saudi desert, a city with no streets, cars, or pollution is rising. It's called The Line, part of the $500 billion NEOM project. By 2032, its first phase will be complete. Run by AI, powered by renewables, and built for zero carbon emissions. 3D printed organs. Go mainstream. By 2040, lab-grown organs may become a standard part of healthcare. Companies like United Therapeutics are already working on 3D printed lungs made from human cells. Imagine needing a transplant and getting one grown just for you. The AI singularity. Some predict that by 2045 we'll reach the singularity, the moment when artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence. It's a pivotal turning point. Machines capable of thinking, reasoning, and innovating faster than any human alive. What follows? Could change everything. Antarctica Treaty faces pressure. Since 1991, the Antarctic Treaty has banned mining and resource extraction, but in 2048, it comes up for review. With nations eyeing rare minerals trapped beneath the ice, Antarctica may become the next geopolitical battleground. The age of megacities. By 2050, over 70% of the world's population will live in cities. Projects like Woven City in Japan and Tolosa in the US are prototypes for a new urban future, filled with autonomous vehicles, vertical farms, and zero-emission infrastructure. And here's the truth. These aren't distant dreams. They're real projects, with blueprints, budgets, and deadlines. From AI doctors to orbital hotels, the future is no longer a question of if, it's happening faster than we think. Subscribe to the Mind Cache because we don't just imagine the future, we decode it.